Today we're looking at 5 stupid ways to get on your skateboard. So before we get started, I did make a video about cool ways to get on your skateboard. So definitely go check that out if you want to see some actually interesting ways to get on a skateboard. But the list today is a bit more stupid, so let's take a look. Up first is probably the coolest of the stupid ways to get on, and that is the one-footed pressure flip. So for this one, you're using your back foot in the pocket just like you would for a pressure heel flip, except you're only using one foot and then jumping on. It's pretty pointless, but that doesn't mean it's not fun. Of course, it'll help if you have an understanding of pressure flips and especially pressure heel flips. But really just understanding the main underlying concept of using pressure to flip the board over is going to help you. So essentially you can just kind of set up like you would for a pressure heel, and then take your front foot off, and then dig down in that pocket with that big toe in order to give it the pressure to flip. And just like for any other pressure flip, you want to make sure that you're not popping the tail down, but rather just using pressure. And once you can reliably get the board to do the heel flip rotation without flying away from you, then all you have to do is flip it and jump on. Pretty dumb, but pretty fun, right? Up next, we have the shove it tail whip. So just like the trick bearing the same name, this trick is going to pop like a pop shove it, and then you grab the tail and then flip it around for another shove. Again, this is pretty useless because when are you ever actually going to do it? But it's fun when you're just standing there messing around. So of course you're going to want to know how to pop shove it, and really it's just the fundamentals of understanding how to use your back foot to scoop the board around. And you just want to make sure that you're doing that shove it motion with some good pop, so that as the board rotates, it's coming up into the air and you can reach out and grab it with your back hand. And then once you've grabbed the board, you can use your hand to give it another shove and whip it around, and then jump on top. The easiest way to get this one going is probably to break it down into steps. So first get used to popping the tail, and then get used to doing that and grabbing it. And then separately you can practice whipping it around with your hand, and then jumping on. Once you have these steps all down and they're really easy, then you can do it all in one motion. And you just want to make sure that when you shove it around, you don't really flip it at all, or you might land primo. In fact, landing primo might be an issue for a few of these, so always make sure you're watching out for that. But anyway, you just put all these together, and then you have a stupid pop shove it tail whip to get on your board. Up next, we have the Casper. Now this is probably the most useful one on this list, and it's actually not really stupid. The Casper is like a foundational trick for freestyle skating. So even if you have no use for it in your style of skating, it's still pretty neat. For this one, you just flip the board over onto your foot and get into that Casper position with your foot on the tail, and then flip it up and over. There's really not much to break down here other than flipping the board over with your front foot and then getting your back foot on top of the tail while it's upside down. And I guess the way that you could start practicing if you're not comfortable is just landing it with one foot at first. But really it's a simple matter of just kind of lifting your front foot up while you kind of scoop and shove your back foot under so the board comes up and around. Of course you can just practice by starting with the board upside down already, and then just get comfortable flipping it over, and once you've got it, you can just use this whenever. And who knows, maybe you'll fall in love with this and end up becoming the next freestyle god, but probably not. And for our next way to get on your board, we have putting your tail in a crack and jumping on the board. All right, now we're getting really stupid. So for this one, you're just essentially jamming your tail into a crack so that your board is standing up on its end. And then you take a couple steps and run and jump into it and land on top. I'm not really sure why you'd want to do this one. It's not going to make you look very cool, and it can be really annoying to set up if you don't have a deep enough crack. And it can probably even mess up your tail, I don't know. But it wouldn't be a list of stupid ways to get on your board if it wasn't stupid. So yeah, like I said, just find yourself a crack that's wide and deep enough that your tail can fit inside and stand up on its end. And once it's there, you sort of just run into your board with your front foot first, a little bit up towards the nose, and that'll cause it to fall down, and then just land and roll away. If you're not really comfortable on a skateboard but you want to try this, the only things you should know how to do is kind of just jump onto your board like the normal way. And it pretty much feels just like that, except you're not holding your board. And for our fifth way, we have jumping straight into a trick. Now this one isn't inherently stupid just by itself, but it can really make you feel stupid when you're going to jump on your board and do a trick right away, and you just completely miss the flick. But I will say that because this one is the most challenging, it's probably the most rewarding, which makes it a lot of fun. But yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. You jump on your board with no time to set up and immediately do a trick. Of course, this is going to be harder with different tricks depending on what you're good at and just the way you have to set up your feet. But yeah, essentially, take something like a kickflip and the way you set up your feet normally for that. Well, instead of having any time to do that, you have to make sure that when you jump on your board, your feet are already in that position. And then as quickly as you can, you pop the board and do the trick. This is probably easier said than done, because when you actually go to try it, you'll see that it's pretty hard to get your balance right and your footing in the perfect position. But you can start off easy with things like shove-its or 180s just to kind of get a feel for it. And then if you want to, you can throw in a little bit harder of tricks. So I know I said this was a list of 5 stupid ways to get on your skateboard, but I'm going to add this bonus one on because it's just so stupid that I can't let it go. So this is the stupid foot on the tail spinny thingy. It looks stupid, it feels stupid, and it is stupid. But for some reason, doing this is always stuck in my head when I'm standing there with my foot on the tail. So yeah, I don't know. Don't even try this one, just watch how stupid I look. Basically, you're just putting your back toe on the tail and then spinning the board around 360, or as close as to 360 as you can get, and then jumping back on. I'm not even going to explain anything about it because you just have to watch it, but if you want to try it, go for it, but don't blame me when people make fun of you. So yeah, this was just a random little video where I show some stupid ways that I get on my skateboard. At the very best, maybe you'll find some of them fun and you'll want to learn them. And at worst, you turned this video off a long time ago. Either way though, the point I always want to make is that skateboarding is supposed to be about having fun, no matter how stupid it is. So as long as you're out there and having fun and being creative, then that's the way to do it. So yeah, get out there and keep skating. And like I mentioned in the beginning, I do have a video about actually cool ways to get on your skateboard, so maybe go check that out. As always, I'd like to thank my wonderful Patreon pledgers. And I'd like to thank you for watching, and you can like and subscribe if you want.